Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy solstice. I'm Jackson, and I just got carried away for a minute, so it's already 6:02 for crying out loud. Hey, let's sing some Christmas carols, shall we? Let's do Joy to the World. but you have to sing. We're going to make a joyful noise this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Pitch, not necessary. Rhythm, optional.
Okay. I'm nice and loud. I'm so glad that some of you are able to join us here in the sanctuary and others of you from your homes online. My name is Diane Gazelle. I'm one of the practitioners here at the Center for Spiritual Living Prescott. In the interest of being green, you do not have a printed program tonight. We decided we don't need them. You'll be able to just be right in the moment, right with us. And so let's begin with prayer. So, on this longest day of the year here in the Northern Hemisphere, we find ourselves hugged in a soft, velvety darkness. But in this darkness, we know the sun is shining brightly on our southern neighbors. Just as we know, Spirit always shines. Spirit shines within and without. We know there is absolutely no place God is not. That divine energy is in, through, and as us. It is light and love, peace and understanding. So as we go forward with this evening's service, we know we are spirit-led and spirit-nourished. We celebrate the opportunity to gather and acknowledge the message of love and goodwill to all. And with great gratitude, we'll move forward in this ceremony with a blessing candle ritual. This is a new microphone. We begin this candle ceremony by lighting a candle in memory of those whom we have personally lost this past year or previous years, whose loss we still feel with grief in our hearts.
In recognition of family members too far away from us to share this holiday season, whether separated by choice, by distance, or finances, whatever it is for those family members and those far away, we light a candle.
This is interesting. In gratitude, we stand with all those who work tirelessly for peace, justice, and a healthy future. I'll hold it for you. No, I'll hold the mic for you.
Okay. We really can do this safely. In oneness, holding peace and wholeness for those who suffer from disease, physical, mental, or spiritual, whatever the unrest is, for these in oneness, we light a candle.
We are coordinated. We light a candle in celebration of those who have triumphed over adversity.
In the joy of knowing that we share the spirit of the season with those of all spiritual paths, all walks of life, we light a candle.
And we light a candle in balance with the earth and all beings living upon, above it, or in it, remembering that the light of Christ is not limited to human beings.
In gratitude for the families and friends we have here and now, who are the very incarnation of the spirit of love for us, those we know and those we have yet to know.
And the last candle we light in honor of the faith and the gift of hope and love that this holiday season has to offer us, affirming that we are bringers of light and claiming the power to share that light with the world.
This is a Michael God Christmas song. The chorus says, one hope, one heart, one love, one light. Saw a world of darkness, will defeat a world of lies. Heaven gave a gift, the truth of who we are, in a baby's eyes. Still remains. It's bright and clear and true. The light is here in you. 'Cause you are one hope. You are one heart. You are one love and one light. One child, one song. You are one star and one night. We are
One night. And here we are, officially in winter now. So we're here gathered to celebrate the Winter Solstice 2021. And we all probably know from our 6th grade education what the Winter Solstice was all about. But just in case, I thought that we'd go back in time because we just launched a spacecraft that came the closest to the sun and grabbed a little bit of that sun energy. And we've sent the spacecraft up there, and we've also just about to launch another satellite to be able to look further than humans have ever looked before. But Winter Solstice, we've been celebrating for over 10,000 years. And we've seen pictures such as this from Stonehenge in the Neolithic Stone Age times, where they set the stones so that on the winter solstice and the summer solstice and the 2 equinox, the light would shine in just the right way. That meant that those shamans, those astronomers, had figured out the patterns of the heavens, the earth, the sun, and the moon. Pretty remarkable given that they didn't have calculators. But the wealthy and powerful also, few years later, started to look at this god called Mithra. The Persians have been around also for a long time, and they've been writing about it and doing art about it. Mithra was the god of the sun who supposedly slew the bull, and that what started these sacrifices that occurred at this time, because the Persians, although they grew up and they were starting to grow crops, they also hunted throughout the Middle East there. Well, the Romans saw what the Persians were doing, and they thought that that was a great deal, but their god of agriculture was called Saturn. And so they had a festival called Saturnalia. And the Romans didn't do anything small. No, they feasted for a week in their excessive ways, and that's probably what brought down the empire finally. But they were around for a long time. And then in the cold and the dark of the Norse ages, of course, they gathered up the big old log, set it on fire, because they were hunters. And it was dark, especially if any of you have been to Scandinavia or Norway in the wintertime. You will get only about 2 hours of sunshine the further north you go. And of course, as Christianity swept northward in about 1000 AD, 1,000 years ago, St. Lucia took over for this king of Yule. But even today, the Yule log and the hollies and mistletoe are part of the celebration, even though some of the old Norse legends have been let go of. Well, it's truly a global phenomenon because the earth tilts, 23 degrees, I can't quite do it. But in the north right now, we're pointed away from the sun. So if you look, the northern part of the earth right now gets no sun at all during the day. Instead, the sun is just going around just under the horizon all day and night long. So no wonder that they're very excited at this time of year, because it says eventually, very soon, the sun's going to come back. And in the south, where about 20% of the people on the planet live, it's right now the opposite. Of course, they're having the summer solstice, and it's about a third of the land mass, but most of it is Antarctica. It's under ice all year round, whether it's daylight or nighttime. Doesn't much matter. But look at all these different words for different types of celebrations. In China, it's, I won't get it right, Dongjin. In Japan, Toji. This one's from the Celts, Mein Gemmerid. Probably not right either. Inti Raymi, the Incans celebration. And of course, Winter's Day that we're celebrating here, and Solstice d'hiver, the French and Langstennacht, the German. So all around the globe, we have been celebrating this. And solstice literally is the sun standing still. So where does the sun stand still? The analemma, it's called, is if you take a photo of the sun every day at the same time, it produces this analemma curve, like this. And then this is from Greece at about 12:20 in the afternoon every day over the course of a whole year, 48 times. And it creates this great infinite or Lemnescu figure. And the southernmost piece right here is when it stands still and no longer is going south, stands still for a moment and starts heading back north. The solstice. And that's what we're celebrating today. Now here at the center, we bring the custom of looking at the light, and the light is inside of us. So I invite you to think about bringing that light forward, just as the earth is in the north, being promised to see the sunlight coming back. And so what light will you bring to the world in 2022? Where are you going to shine your light? That's the story. And now we have a great light song for us all to learn. Thank you.
Now the words of this song are pretty easy, because I'll say something that's like a question, and your answer is, or actually I guess that's wrong. I say something, your question is, where is the light?
Where is the light?
So if I say, I walked in the dark and stubbed my toe, you'd say, where is the light? It's super dark, can't find the bathroom, and I have to go, and you'd say, exactly. Is the chorus, and I forgot to tell you that. We'll do that chorus again. Here we go. Where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me, that's right. When it's cold each morning when I rise, and it's dark when my eggs are frying, I go, and it's dark again when I get home. Well, where is the light? Where is the light? Where is the light? Oh, the light's inside of me. Well, it's in my skin and in my bones, and it's in my heart and in my soul. That light of life, so bright and golden, like the sun of day. Like a candle flame. There you go.
What fun. Every part of me smiles as I listen to that song. It's interesting. It was written by Peter Mayer, but wow, done total justice by Jackson. And it's so great reminding us that we are that light, burning bright. And that feeling, that joy, is the message we at the Centers for Spiritual Living share. As many people worldwide celebrate the birth of Jesus at this time of year, we too embrace his messages of acceptance and love, of abundance and generosity. Jesus, who we know as the master teacher, acknowledged the Christ within. By his many examples of compassion, tolerance, and non-judgment, Jesus taught mankind how to live in peace and harmony. And so while getting ready for this service and researching on what Ernest Holmes had to say about Jesus and about Christmas, I found a numerous wonderful reading, and I wanted to share with you. It's a blog by Diego Reyes, who is an archives volunteer with CSL. He wrote, "It was Ernest's wish to remember not only the biblical birth of Jesus, but to be certain we never forget that the Christ resides within ourself, awaiting to be born. He, Ernest Holmes, always tried to teach us, as Jesus had, that knowing the divine lives within each of us is how we can be supported and guided to be one with the Father. Christ is born to, or within each of us, as the human gives way to the divine, as strife gives way to peace, as confusion gives way to poise, as weakness gives way to strength, as fear gives way to faith, as doubt gives way to certainty, as misery gives way to happiness, and as we give way to spirit." In the December 1957 issue of Science of Mind, we read the following by Ernest Holmes. "This month we celebrate the birth of him whom we think to have been the greatest spiritual genius who ever lived. And I would like to discuss what this man said and taught, and what its relationship might be to our everyday living. At the time of Jesus, what we now call the Christian religion had not been started. Jesus was a Jew following the line of Jewish tradition, but he brought to it something which was new, the value of the individual life and the relationship of the individual to the universal, or man to God. Jesus taught two great universal truths. One, that we are surrounded by a divine presence which presses against us everywhere. The other, that we are surrounded by a universal law of intelligence which is creative. It is done unto us as we believe. No other person before or since had ever been so specific about this. Through the conscious use of this power greater than we are, he healed the sick and raised the dead. He fed the multitude and found money in the fish's mouth to pay the taxes. He turned the water into wine and raised himself from the dead. Jesus taught a very intimate relationship, a divine partnership that we all have with the infinite, but in such very simple words that we sometimes overlook their profoundness. And also in my search, I found a Christmas letter from Ernest Holmes, and I'm going to share that with you as well. Christmas is for remembrance. The love manifested through our gifts to each other typifies the author of life, the givingness of spirit to its creation. The hands of the eternal are outstretched through our hands, and the heart of the infinite beats in the human breast. But the giver must give of himself, for the gift without the giver is bare. It is not enough to give money to a great cause. Only those who understand giving give of themselves, withholding nothing. Each of us has something to give. Let each see that he gives of his best. If we are bringing our gifts to the altar of love, nothing less than the best will be acceptable. Nothing less than all is enough. May the real spirit of Christmas, the giving of life, the giving of self to life, enter and abide in you now and through all times. Ernest Holmes. So, it is up to each of us to dance like candle flame during all the many ways to celebrate this time of year. To radiate the good we seek for ourselves to all creatures great and small, to our planet, and to all mankind. And so the next song you're going to hear is from a poem written by Howard Thurman, who is an American author, a poet, an educator, and a theologian. Thurman believed the message of Christmas had something for people of all faiths and no faith. The words in The Work of Christmas remind us always to keep glowing with love for ourselves and all of humanity.
When the song of the angels is still, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and the princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the word of Christmas
And so now, as we're going to light individual candles, if you are holding a candle with a flame, you hold it upright. Your neighbor, John, Karen, and I will come down the sides and get these going with you, but make sure that if your candle has a flame, you hold it upright. You tip your unlighted candle to the candle next to you. You tip. And keep your paper down low, not up by the flame.
Let's just be still for a moment. This mic. Okay, good. Let's just be that silence for a few moments as we look at the light we hold, the look at the light others are holding, and know that we are the light of the world. I am, you are, we are, not alone, but the divine light that shines in our hearts every single day, and in our voice, as the baby reminds us. Every breath we take is the light of the divine, the light of God, and we take it into the world as Christ light, Buddha nature, whatever you call it. We call it the light and know it is good, it is pure, infinite, amazing light, grace, and love everlasting, eternal and shining bright. As we walk out of here today, we know we are not the same as we were when we entered. For every new moment brings us closer to our own waking up and waking up to who we are. I see your beauty, you see mine, and we see it every place we look. So let's see it with the eyes of divine love and know that it is true today and tomorrow, and especially knowing it amazingly shining in the way into 2022. As we blow out our candles, we know we're not blowing out the light. We are just softening it, and to know that it's shining brighter than ever. And so it is. Make a wish. Why not? The kids know that one, don't you? Thank you. And this concludes our service for today. We thank you all so very much for being with us and wish you well in all your holiday celebrations. Thank you.
I think it's terrible. I think Rick Wakeman's so overrated.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh,
Okay.
we're Yes fans, so we can do this. Yeah. I know a lot of people really like Awaken.
Thank you. How are you?
I haven't, no. Oh, you know what I have? I saw